Everybody loves horses, whether it be because they grew up on a farm or just seeing them on the road. Who could hate them? Today, I'm going to teach you how to tack up a horse. Whether you've never ridden before, never seen a horse, or you ride on the daily, this video could be a great reminder or even teacher for anyone who's ever wanted to work with horses. Step 1 would of course to be grab your halter and lead line and go get your horse. Your horse might be inside a stall or outside in the pasture, whereas here my horse is in the pasture, spending time with his friends grazing. I bring him indoors and put him in the cross ties to begin the grooming process before we can start saddling up. Step 2 is the curry comb. We gently comb against the grain of his fur to help get up any stubborn dirt that we can't get out. Step 3 is to use the hard brush. We gently brush with the grain of his fur as to keep him comfortable and to push off any of the extra dirt that we just picked up from before. Step 4, we use the soft brush to gently brush with the grain of his fur to smooth out all of his fur so he's going to be nice and ready for the saddle. Step 5 is to pick his feet. We use our hoof pick to pick up his feet individually and pick out any rocks or dirt that might be in there. Be careful not to pick out the middle part of his hoof, aka the frog, as it'll hurt him and it's not necessary to pick there. Phew! After all that grooming, it's finally time to saddle up. To start with step 6, we need to use the saddle pad. We gently place the saddle pad on our horse's back and make sure it's nice and snug right above the withers so it's placed nice and evenly in the middle. For step 7, we're going to use a half pad. This is my English half pad that I use for extra comfort and plushness so that it's more comfortable when it comes to ride him. For step 8, I'm finally going to get my saddle out. I personally use an English saddle, but there's other options such as Western. To do this, I gently take off my saddle cover as to make sure I do not damage my saddle, and then I finally and carefully want to place it on his back. You want to be careful to set it gently on his back as it can be a little heavy and we don't want to hurt them. Saddles can be a little expensive, so we always want to be careful when we're working with them. Once we gently place it down, we want to make sure it's saddled correctly over the half pad and the saddle pad. Then we lift it gently over the withers and make sure it's perfectly centered. Perfect! Now for step 9, I'm going to grab my girth. The girth is a piece of leather or plastic or whatever that we use to help attach the saddle to the horse. So it's basically like a belt. First, we attach it at these 2 leather straps and we gently slip it through on one side as seen, and you want to keep it at the lowest one possible, especially if you don't know the horse yet, just to make sure it's going to fit. Then we need to go around to the other side of our horse and tighten it. Put it through. You don't want to get it too tight quite yet. First, you need to gently reach under your horse and grab the girth. You don't want to scare him after all. And then we need to gently pull it up and attach it through the leather straps on this side. Now, we don't want to make it too tight because we're just standing here. There's no need for it to be tight. We can tighten it later when it comes to ride in the arena. But for now, I like to leave it nice and loose so he can breathe and not to cause any problems for later. Once it's fully in, then we're fully tacked up. This is it. All you have to do. Once it's nice and snug, make sure there's no harsh parts, nothing poking out. And there you go. You finally tacked up your horse. Although I might not be the best equestrian in town, I've been riding for a very long time and have tacked up countless horses. So I hope that this makes you feel a little bit better that your information is coming from a reliable source. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please give a big thank you to my horse, Biggie.